Let's talk helm positions on catamarans. This is always an emotive subject. I can't believe we're doing it. But anyway, here goes. Which catamaran helm position is the best? In this video, we break down the pros and cons of every helm position you'll find on modern cruising catamarans. From single raised helms to forward inside helms, we'll explore which setup offers the best visibility, sail control, safety and fun. Watch until the end for our vote. We're expecting lots of feedback on this one, so don't hold back and make your opinions known in the comments. Keep it civil, don't shoot the messenger. We're going to take a look at the pros and cons of each helm position with some examples of some cool catamaran brands that use them. Whether you're buying a new catamaran, dreaming of sailing the world, or just curious about the different designs, we hope this video is useful.
What's your favourite helm position?
Before we jump into the different helm positions, let's talk about what makes a good helm station. Visibility. Can you see forward over the cabin? Can you see the sails? Is it easy to dock? Ease of sail handling. Are the winches and sheets within reach? Communication. Can you talk to crew, family and guests easily? Protection from the elements. Are you exposed to wind, rain and waves? Balance and weight distribution. Does the position affect boat performance? Sailing feel and fun. Do you feel connected to the water and wind? Can you feel the rudders?
Okay, let's look at some different helm positions. Let's kick off with the single raised mid-helm. You'll see this on most of the mid-range Lagoon cats, Fontaine Pajot and many South African designs like Exquisite and Leopard. This position gives you great visibility over the cabin top and you are centred for docking and anchoring. The protection is generally good up here with good access to the sheets. On the flip side, it can be harder to trim your sails on both tacks. One is usually easier than the other, and you won't have direct feel on the rudders. This is a very popular helm position, however. Check you can see all four corners of the boat. A good example is the Lagoon 43, known for its comfortable cruising design with easy helm access from the cockpit.
Next up is the twin raised mid-helms position. You'll find this on bigger boats just because you need the width to fit two helms in the mid position. This setup has excellent visibility on both sides, and it's perfect for trimming your sails. It's more of a performance-oriented position and well protected. Another brand offering twin mid-helms is Seawind. These are set at cockpit level, which gives you excellent protection. You do lose visibility and sailing feel though. It is a neat solution, however.
Here's the Seawind 1370 in can. You can see that this helm position frees up lots of space for solar on the coach roof. Okay, let's look at a central mid-raised helm now. You don't see many of these designs these days as you end up losing quite a bit of cockpit space. This is a looping 47. An older Katana design, the 381, also had a centralised helm, but that was set further back. This position works best on smaller boats. It's a well-balanced protected position with good visibility forward and to the sides. It can be harder to see all four corners for docking. This is not a common design.
Slightly above the water, so you get a fantastic view all over the boat, and really on the sails, it's really cool when you're sailing.
Let's look at a sportier option now. Twin aft helms. This is the kind of design that you will see on a Nautitech, an Excess or an older Katana. If you want maximum sailing feel, this is the position to go for. The helm is directly connected to the rudders. You have excellent visibility to the sails on both tacks and you will feel the wind shifts. You have full visibility of family and crew looking forward and good access to all of the sheets, including the larger light wind sails. The boom can be kept low, resulting in a seaworthy boat, and you maximise your area for solar. But you are exposed to the weather back here, and a long way from the anchor, which can be tricky for short-handed sailing. There is lower visibility to the opposite bow. In really bad weather, you would probably be helming from the nav station inside. For ocean crossings, a backup autopilot would be a good investment. A good example of a boat with this type of helm is a Van R 4, a Nautitech 44 or an XS 14.
Let's take a look at the forward outside helm position. You'll see this kind of position on many of Chris White's designs, such as the Atlantic 57. Visibility forward is second to none, an excellent safety consideration, and you are right by the mast with easy access to the sails. The rigging setup is simple from here with shorter reefing lines and less to go wrong, and if you want sailing feel, you are going to get it from here. This central position is well balanced in the middle of the boat. On the flip side, you are pretty exposed here and you don't have full visibility of the crew. You are a long way from the rudders and it can be harder to see the aft of the boat, which can make docking more difficult. Many of these designs also come with an inside helm, which you can use if the weather turns nasty. There is no doubt that this is a great helm position, although you do lose space in the saloon inside to make way for the access forward. These Chris White designs have inspired many others in the performance catamaran segment.
Let's ramp up the luxury factor with the inside helm position, made famous by Gunboat and other catamarans like Kinetic and HH. This position gives you full protection from the elements and excellent visibility forward. They are often linked to a working forward cockpit by the mast. With the forward door open, the ventilation is second to none in calmer weather or at anchor, and this is a comfortable helm in rougher conditions. But you are sailing from the inside, and it is more difficult to see and trim your mainsail. You are a long way from the rudders. This kind of helm position is often paired with tillers aft for when you are in race mode. Some examples of catamarans that have this kind of helm position include the Gunboat 68 or 72 and the Kinetic 54. The Kinetic 54 has a forward inside helm and twin helms aft to give you the best of both worlds. It comes at a price, of course.
Next up is the forward twin helms option. You'll find this kind of setup on a Windelo. It has many of the advantages of the single helm, including protection from the weather, good visibility forward and safety for the family, especially with a tilting door closing off the living space aft when you're underway. You can reef at the mast with shorter lines and arguably it is more protected from spray as you can stick to the windward side in a blow. These forward helms are great for anchoring as well. You can drop and see the anchor from the cockpit. On the flip side, it is harder to see your mainsail, although there are windows overhead, and backing into a dock can be more challenging. With the clears open, you get a good feel of the wind. These forward cockpits in the Windelos end up being pretty social at anchor. There is plenty of space in here to enjoy a sundowner and a chat. And it's a quick hop up to the forward trampolines.
Let's take a look at some more flexible options now. Helm positions that you can adapt to give you a balance between sailing feel and protection. One of the most popular setups is the swing mid-helm position, typified by the Versa helm on balanced catamarans. You can adjust the helm position according to the conditions. Swing the helm up for more visibility and sailing feel. Swing the helm down for protection from the elements. This flexibility gives you plenty of space to play with in the aft cockpit too. You can set the control lines to come back to both positions, and you can pair it with a bimini or dodger up top for even more protection, or slide a hatch over when you are set in the down position. The downside is that it is not as easy to trim your sails on one of the tacks, and there is less of a direct feel to the rudders. But this is a clever solution, particularly for long-distance cruisers. Good examples include the Balance Range and the Garcia Explicat 52. You are well connected to the crew, and it's a decent place to dock from too. The new Outremers have dual mid-swing helms, another excellent solution.
Swing helms are also making an appearance further aft, such as on the HH44 and the HH52. These have all of the advantages of the sportier position, view of your sails, sailing feel, proximity to the rudders, with the added option of being able to swing in under the coach roof when the weather turns. You can set your boom low and you maximise space for solar on the coach roof, but you have reduced visibility to the opposite bow. You may need to switch sides from time to time. On the HH52, there is also an option for a forward cockpit with tillers aft. And if we are talking tillers aft, that is the ultimate adrenaline option. You'll see this set up on the HH66 and the ORC Catamarans, which have overhang bucket seats for maximum sailing feel. There is no more direct way of helming, and the visibility of your sails is second to none. This is more of a racing setup, but it is still popular with cruisers who want to feel the wind in their hair. You can expect more of an emphasis on the performance aspects on these designs. On many of the ORC 57s, you reef from the mast. The downsides are pretty clear. You are not protected from the elements back here, and your visibility forward to the opposite bow is lower. You can just switch sides, of course.
That brings us to the Flybridge helms, which are the best for all-round visibility and feeling like the king or queen of the bay. Let's look at single Flybridge helms first, like the one you will find on the Lagoon 55. These tend to be just off-centre. The advantage here is that you are at the vantage point for 360-degree visibility. It can be pretty social up here, and it's easy to trim your sails with such good visibility. Generally, lines are all led back to the helm, and you are right by the mast, raising and lowering sails quickly. But you can be isolated up here in bad weather, and there is less protection from the elements. Flybridge cats have higher booms, which means a higher centre of effort on the mainsail, and it can mean it's more difficult to sort any problems with the lines. You are further from the water, and it's harder to keep an eye on family and crew. Many larger catamarans have dual Flybridge helms, which make it easier to trim your sails and dock the boat. McConaughey boats, for example, favour this approach, and they set them further aft than the typical cruising setup. This also means that you have plenty of space for solar panels. Yachts with hard biminis will also put solar on the very top. Where the Flybridge helms really come into their own is at anchor. They make fantastic social spaces. If you have ever sailed one, you'll know that they tend to be the busiest space at anchor, and it's a great setup when you are actually dropping the hook. It's easy to communicate. If you want to know where the party is, then it's probably up top. And that is probably the main reason why they are so popular. Even Gunboat have Flybridge cats these days. These performance catamarans will still sail at wind speed over 8 knots, and while a Gunboat 72 Flybridge won't be beating a Gunboat 72 regatta around the first mark, I know which boat the party will be on at the end of the race. You can option dual helms or a single helm on the 72 Flybridge. The dual helms make it easier to manoeuvre in the marina. You probably won't mind either way if you're relaxing on the sofa. And you don't need to buy a luxury catamaran for a Flybridge helm. Bali offer this setup from their 40-footer cat space all the way up through the range. This maximises the living space down below, and even the cat space has room for a lounging area up top. But there is less room for solar, less protection, and the boom is higher. That's the trade-off.
In the end, the best helm position depends on how you sail and what's important to you. Do you prioritise visibility, sail handling, socialising or protection? Let us know in the comments which helm style you prefer. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.
So, what's the best helm position, in our opinion? Okay, we're going to put it out there. An inside forward helm, working forward cockpit, coupled with twin aft helms. We reckon that gives you the best of both worlds. What do you think?
Yes.